Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Good morning to Lagos, Nigeria, wherever you are. Welcome to the second part of Dailies today, sponsored by MTN Nigeria. I am Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimi. Disu. Good morning, everybody.
All right. Let's hear from MTN, and we'll be back to take a look at the stories on the papers today. Welcome, Lagos. We'll be back in a moment.
Hello! This na public announcement to our dear customer them. As NCC don't talk, MTN
Once again, a very lovely morning to you, live from our studios here on Etimi and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. You can watch live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're watching live right now, you would see that we have our nose mask on. That's because we take COVID very, very seriously here on Nigeria Info.
You know, I was telling you that this, looking at the two of us, reminds me of the 60s when we were young and you had these sanitary officers. That's a polite thing to call them way back then, when you didn't have proper toilets way back then. This is what they look like. I don't want to use the local name. It's early in the morning.
Really. That's to tell you that please take responsibility wherever you are. Use your nose mask all the time. Wash your hands regularly. If you have hand sanitizer, go about with it anywhere you go today, because the COVID of first wave is not the COVID of second wave. This is quite it's aggressive. It's spreading very, very fast. Please take responsibility. Let's start with the Vanguard newspaper today. We're working on type, quantity of COVID vaccines, of COVID-19 vaccines, FG. We're working on type, quantity of COVID-19 vaccines, FG.
I think that one of the things that hooks the NCDC and that committee by the jugular is that they have to say something on a daily basis. They must have a briefing.
Right.
And therefore, what they have said today, of course, is no news at all. We're still working on the type and quantity of COVID vaccines when other African countries are ready to roll out, no matter how small the numbers are. Here we have Senegal is expecting its first dose in March 2021 through a partnership with WHO, UNICEF, and so on and so forth. Kenya has ordered 24 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine developed by AstraZeneca. Okay. South Africa has also secured 20 million doses through another arrangement, okay, and signed up to receive an additional 6 million from COVAX. That is, the Seychelles has become the first African country to start inoculating its population on January 10. Seychelles, January 10, utilizing the Chinese Sinopharm vaccine. Nigeria is expecting its first shipment of 100,000. 2,000 is coming to Lagos. When that 2,000 arrives in Lagos, it's not going to arrive in Sanwo-Olu's office. It's going to cross the bridge to you know where. It's not going to arrive. He will not have any authority on how it is shared. The big boss, that is his own job. And so they're expecting the 100,000 by the end of January. There's going to be a big fight for that one. Chairman Ward A, Chairman Ward B, that kind of thing. It's as good as gone. And that's end of January. And also it says that Nigeria plans to vaccinate 40% of the population in 2021 and another 30% by the end of 2022. But guess what happened? I will tell you. Let me read this story. The federal government said yesterday it was still working on the type and so on. Okay, it says, for instance, countries such as South Africa, Senegal, Kenya, and Egypt are expecting delivery of the vaccines in a few weeks. We are still, roaming around. The finance minister, who disclosed this yesterday at the 2021 budget ministerial briefing, said the federal government would seek supplementary. So we're not still seeking supplementary budget for 2021 fiscal year to fund coronavirus vaccination program. So the money isn't even at hand yet. We're still going to now seek. And she said already, a combined team of the relevant authorities, including health and finance and so on, are working on the cost of the program when Seychelles has already ordered. Look, don't let me spoil your day further. Let us once again put pressure on the government. The low-hanging fruit in all this is to license some of these things and let private initiative at least clear no matter how small, let it clear a part of the population. Okay, and like I said, I'm sure that there are some state governments that will be ready to deploy funds. There are some corporate bodies that will be ready to sponsor, just like they did. You remember this COVID, whatever, some companies will put down 1-2 billion. I'm sure there are some companies that will be ready to provide this vaccine.
You know what's getting me worried here? We're still planning to work out the type of vaccines that we want.
No, we know the type that we want for reasons that are clear to you and I. No, wait now. Don't go by this. I'm telling you, we know where we are going.
In China,
we know where we are. Look, we know this. Look, most of our leaders, why is this mask falling off? Most of our leaders are wheeler dealers. They know where they are going. They will stretch you. When it gets to a point of desperation, then their plan it falls into place. It is the same thing that happens over and over again. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's something that happens over and over again. We know where we are going. Don't believe that we are working on type quantity. They know. Most of our top civil servants and leaders are wheeler dealers. Most of them. They are wheeler dealers. They know where we are going. They're playing dice, Ludo, and snakes and ladders with their lives. We should put pressure on them. Let them. Once they can license some, I tell you this. The private sector is ready to move.
Right.
We can then put pressure on the banks, the access banks of this world, UB and so on and so forth. 1 billion here, 1 billion there, to Lemu Foundation, even MTN. Everybody.
Yeah.
They can at least take a sizable part rather than nothing. Rather than nothing, because your plan is to do 40% and another 30%. How are you sure the 30% will survive into 2022, the rate at which we are going?
Yeah.
So your honorable minister is still planning
to
introduce the supplementary budget. So let me now ask a question. Supposing we were invaded overnight, serious invasion overnight, we'll still go back and be planning supplementary budget. Look,
it's quite disappointing.
It is important. What is important for you as an individual in this country is know your country well. Know your country well, and always be prepared for how you are going to survive the ineffectiveness and the corrupt practices of our leaders, because that is what it is.
Because this is quite disappointing. Since last year,
April,
and we're still planning. Almost a year now.
Part of the problem is this.
We knew the vaccines were coming.
Part of the problem is this. Check out these countries where action has taken place. The buck stops on somebody's table and is an action person. But we are slow. We make excuses. You understand what I'm saying? We are slow. Look, Every morning when Boris Johnson wakes up, before maybe at his Cobra meeting, the first item on the agenda will be coronavirus. Not even
Any other thing.
It will be. Don't ask me what is on the agenda.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Well, it's just disappointing. It's a letdown. It's a huge letdown.
It's not a letdown
to be hearing this at this stage.
I want to disagree with you because we have never done anything better. Even the World Cup tournaments that we win is by fluke. When we won the Olympics, did we prepare for it? That Olympic team we didn't. It was the boys that managed to. Initially the team were losing even to Baga United and so on and so forth. It was sheer luck and grit on the part of the boys. They were not well prepared for it. It was when they now got to the quarterfinals, everybody now joined the bandwagon.
We were never prepared for anything.
We were never prepared for anything.
No.
And because our people, most of our leaders are
everything
wicked.
Everything is fire brigade. Everything.
How could you be a full-grown adult, a top government functionary, and have the courage to announce to your people that 100,000 vaccines are? I won't make that kind of announcement. How can?
It's too small.
It's like you run an orphanage.
Yeah.
Or like you run a children's home, and you tell them that tomorrow breakfast is coming. You're talking to about 100 children. Then you say tomorrow's breakfast is coming. Mr. Sharif has gladly donated a loaf of bread. What?
To 100 kids.
Then you now say, okay, what to do? Row 2 will have this one. You know that kind of a thing. How would anybody I don't understand these things, Sharif. I just hope I don't go funny in the head. I try so much to rationalize these things. It never adds up. And that's putting it politely.
It's really sad. 7:41. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Let's know what you think about the headlines that we're bringing your way today, courtesy MTN Nigeria.
Let me quickly ask: if you know you are going to wear this mask, don't eat anything that has like iru or whatever inside.
It is you that will chop your own. All right, let's move away from the Vanguard for a moment. Let's go to the Punch newspaper. Lagos generates 400 cylinders oxygen daily, as according to Commissioner. Lagos generates 400 cylinder oxygen daily.
Now, when I saw this, it's okay. I mean, I like the idea that the government is putting in efforts to. These are things we should have had before anyway. I don't know how we became a country or a state where you actually do lack oxygen. Because before COVID, there was a lady who died about 2 years ago and had a problem. I think the party was at TBS. They took her to all the big hospitals in Ikoyi, about 2 or 3 big hospitals, and none of them had oxygen.
Yeah, I wanted to say that's always been the problem.
In a world where maybe in some countries, even the taxi driver would have oxygen in case his passenger has a problem, And look at the story. This brought me to, there's an article that Ikedi Isikuzo wrote in Business Day sometime last week. I recommend people go and read it. You can Google it. On Professor Dewi is an SSA to the president, where it was reported, Ikedi wrote this article, and it was reported that, Odekunle, in the course of his sickness, was taken to the teaching hospital in Abuja. I didn't know there was a teaching hospital. And that he died because there was no oxygen. This is a man who ordinarily should have been using the Aso Rock Clinic. So the significance of this is not lost on some of us, that thank God at least Lagos is generating 400, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Right.
But for these little steps that we are taking, at least we will thank the Almighty. A bigger prayer is that we never have the need to use these things. We are completely unprepared for this. And it's a year now that I don't think there should be any excuses for us as a nation in the way we are handling this exercise. But the story here is that, yes, the state generates 400 cylinders of oxygen. And the 400, according to Omotosho, my good friend, the commissioner, says the 400 are not enough at the moment because the pandemic has gotten out of hand. Well, this is another reason why you need, it's a good start, but it's another reason why you need to be extremely careful.
Right.
Please be extremely careful.
Right. Because I even read in the papers, online, that a lady whose husband had COVID, the husband used 16 cylinders of oxygen before he could come out.
Oh, one person?
One person. 16.
Why did you have to add that to this?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, just to add to what the Omotosho is saying, that is not enough.
No, this
because
is
you
more,
never know.
This is more than not enough.
You
This
never
is
know.
frightening. Okay.
And you know, when you get to that point, life depends on it.
It depends on it. They take the oxygen away 1, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, the patient is gone.
It's quite sad. Still with the Punch, Muslim Forum asks Kuka to vacate Sokoto, tender apology. That's from the Punch.
Our leaders should please be careful. Our religious leaders should please be careful on all sides. Please be careful on all sides. This development, given what the problems we have at hand, is extremely worrying. And we're going to plead on all sides that people should rein in their people and let us face a common problem and common enemy that we have. I don't need to expatiate on this. I don't need to throw blames either. I just need to beg for maturity of our leaders to say that, please, let us have the progress of this country at the back of our minds. This, of course, has something to do with what Bishop Cook, is it Bishop?
Yes, he's a bishop.
He's a bishop, yes. What it was said that he said, and then the other side, the Muslims are taking up arms. I'm not going to bother to read the details, in all honesty. I'm just going to plead that, look, I think we have enough on our plate than for us to have a religious war on our hands. Remember that the religious war, once it starts, will never end because it is based on beliefs, and it's something we've been trying to handle. It's like an egg. Once it's broken, that's it. Maybe this is part of what led to the DSS statement yesterday. So you can now see that they probably knew what they were talking about when they issued a warning. So let's all be very careful. I don't understand. Again, it lies at, I don't understand our leaders. Muslims and Christians in this country, all my life, had always learned to tolerate each other. I'd like to be corrected. I could jolly well be wrong, but what I was told, I don't know if it's true, was that the one time lawyer to the Christian church in Nigeria was a chief imam, Basil Augusto. And if you look at, especially if you look at Lagos, we've always learned to, it's never been a problem. In my own grandfather's house in campus, one half are Catholics, the other half are Muslims. And when it's time for Easter, you go eat freedom. When it's time for Ile, I grew up in that kind of environment. My grandmother was a Muslim, the head of the Allah Salatus in somewhere, and her elder brother was a Knight of St. George. We've learned to live together. And so, please, I don't want to delve into arguments about who is right or wrong or whatever. But what I do need is to plead with our elders to quickly come together. We just cannot afford any religious whatever, because once it starts, it never stops. I wonder what the problem is. Is it not just for us to live together, everybody in his own house, pray here, pray there, and do? What is the problem? The problem mainly is our leaders. They thrive on these things. They thrive on ethnicity. They thrive on religion to feather their own nest. Because if you check these issues properly, I cracked a joke one day when there was so much talk about, Fulani headsmen, this and that, and I said to myself, half of the people who are talking about this, making so much noise about this northern whatever, they are guarded by Megads from the north. So what are we talking about? So there's a lot of mischief making the rounds on all sides, and I would just want to plead with us, elders of the land, and so on and so forth. Let us have peace.
This is not the first time we'll be getting quick notice from people to others to get out. And I'm guessing that it's not going to be the last time. Somebody has said that this is happening because the first person that said it was not called to order, by the authorities. Nobody is condemning such.
Well, the truth is that everything has been polluted. Everything has been polluted. Look at the way they even demonized the president in the past. And I must be honest with you. At some point, I beg to disagree with some of the things that were ascribed to him. Okay, I have a fair idea of what the problem could be, but I don't think ethnicity or whatever is one of them. Rather, I think that people are exploiting his own weakness to further again their own nests. It's a very complex thing, and unless you're very, very discerning, you won't see the bottom of the pot.
Right.
But all I will do is, like I said, rather than, so you find that even the president himself will have a handicap and then, of course, you know that this gentleman can be a bit slow about these things. Things that demand quick,
right.
spot-on action, take so long, and
Vanguard. Let's go to Vanguard. Let's do the punch. Inferno. Auto crashes. Lagos goes tough on errant drivers. That's from the Vanguard.
Lagos is not going tough on anybody. If you couldn't control, if as we speak you can't control ordinary Okada riders, and say they shouldn't, and you still find them on Eco Bridge, Third Mainland Bridge in broad daylight, all this is just hot air. There is the governor needs to find a way around enforcing the law, and it's not on the pages of the newspaper. He has to find an ingenious way around it. We don't want excuses. We don't want excuses. Lagos goes tough. You have a lot of rhetoric coming from the Ministry of Information. I get mails from them in a day. Sometimes you get up to 50. But it's all churned out. You can't see any. And do you understand what I'm saying? People are still, are still disobeying traffic laws. The commissioner of police was talking about cars with covered number plates. I still saw about 2 or 3 yesterday. Nobody. We have gotten to a point where nobody believes in obeying the law in this state anymore, and indeed nationwide. Go if you want to entertain yourself, Sharif, on any given day when you're feeling. Just go to YouTube. You find there's one. I don't want to mention his name. The top guy in the East is guarded by soldiers. What I saw, he's not a soldier. It's not even a retired one for that matter. Guarded by soldiers, guarded by police, and in a show, if you go to YouTube, it says there, this video is a video of him leaving his house and going for a function. What I saw, it reminded me of Idi Amin. I couldn't believe it. There is something wrong with us, Sheriff. Don't let's go there this morning. I don't want to sound like a broken record. But we let us see if the state government will surprise us on this one.
Right.
Because they're actually worried, and everybody is worried about the vehicles, that catch fire. Your MOT is ridden with corruption. The state seems more concerned with collecting money for the MOT than enforcing the spirit behind the MOT itself. The MOT is supposed to determine which vehicle can be on the road and which can't.
Right.
But when you want to go and get your vehicle license, you stop by and pay. You can even get the MOT in a bank.
That's a very fraught system.
How can, because look, there is, if you doubt what I'm saying, just look at most of the downfalls that you see. Who would have, which MOT or whatever would have approved something? But asking for his MOT will produce it.
I mean, we all can see the downfalls. They're out there.
Is out there?
Indeed. Let's take a look at this headline from The Nation this morning. Stop giving excuses about our challenges, Lawan tells Nigerian leaders.
I'm happy he said that. This summarizes our news for today. And I'm glad, I think we're ending on this note.
Right.
And it says that the Senate President yesterday urged leaders, which includes himself, at all levels, to confront the challenges bedeviling the country. He said the nation's leaders should disallow the current harsh realities from festering by pointing fingers. That's what our leaders do. The Senate President yesterday spoke at a brief ceremony to mark his 62nd birthday. He says, it is absolutely necessary and incumbent on all of us as leaders today to apply ourselves fully to address the various challenges facing Nigeria. It is not easy, and sometimes when you are outside the system, you think 2 plus 2 is 4. That's why you can't even get a vaccine now as we speak, because 2 plus 2 is not that's what you go for. Until you get in, then you discover it's beyond that arithmetic. But there should be no excuses.
Right, right. No excuses at all.
No excuses.
Right. Jimmy, what's coming up at 9?
Today is Wednesday.
Yes, dear Bumi.
Yeah, but,
What are we talking about? Who is coming?
no, there's somebody who she used to be in charge of a restaurant when I was on the other side, you know,
Okay.
the Koyi side
Okay.
and had so, and she used to argue with me every morning at breakfast when I go there for breakfast. I said, okay, come.
So she's coming in today.
But when I now said she should come, and I said to myself, why is it that it's always women that you invite? So next week's Diabomi, I'm going to invite a man or 2 men.
Okay.
There must be gender balance in this thing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with
Gender
you.
balance.
I agree with you. So Lagos, please join Jimmy Disu on Daily Digest at 9 o'clock for the Diabumi edition of Daily Digest. Jimmy, thank you so much for coming around.
God bless you, Sheriff.
All right, Lagos, we have to go on now for a short break. When we return, we have the news for you. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll talk COVID once more. Stay here on the nation's #1 talk station, Nigeria Info.
Every day, news brief.
The Nigerian Communications Commission has ordered mobile network operators.
Shaping our present and the future.